I'm spending a relaxing evening in the cafe, but this is no ordinary cafe. In fact, this cafe is particularly for dogs and cats that are up for adoption. So it got me thinking about the dog problem in Taiwan, and I really want to explore it further because there is a really big issue with dogs being abandoned and too many stray dogs in Taiwan. So we are going to explore that further in this episode. I am Alana. I was born profoundly deaf, but that doesn't stop me from exploring new adventures. A strong environmentalist, I love spending time outdoors and trying delicious vegetarian food and playing with the animals. Join me as I discover more about Taiwan, including its offshore islands. Follow me! So first of all, the obvious question, how did you get the idea behind this cafe?
Oh, I think the shelter is very far away from the downtown. So we build this house, the people very easy to reach them. You spend a cup of coffee and sometimes you can know about them and the rest adoption.
You've got a lot of cats and dogs here. Where are they all going to go eventually? Are they all up for adoption?
Yeah, they're all adoption.
Lovely. As you can see, they do great work at this cafe in finding homes for abandoned or stray dogs, but sometimes those owners want to take it a step further and use the dog they have adopted to become a doctor dog, which is a really beneficial way to give back to the community. I've decided I want to find out more about this program. How about you?
那他们现在在练习的这一个部分啊，就是如果说有未来有到餐厅或者是到民宿的时候，我们希望是保持一个干净的地方，所以会让狗狗学习到垫子上去吃东西。
有点 hot, yes.Yes.
台湾狗医生在台湾已经17年了。最早的时候是我们的创办人陈秀仪小姐，她在美国的时候看到在医院的时候，为什么有狗狗可以光明正大进到医院？如果说给狗狗有一个重要的使命，让人们看到狗狗它的价值，或许就比较不容易弃养狗狗。所以她把狗医生的这个制度呢，就引进来台湾。
Down.
Yes, this is down, and this is up.
What does that mean? Come up.
Up.
Okay.
Up, stand. Yes. 站着。
Hello.
Good.
Down. Up.
Yeah.
Good. Ow. Easy. Easy. Down. Down.
Your tree. So your hand.
So just one hand.
Yes.
It's so easy. See? Down. Oh. Up.
Good.
May I ask why you bring the dog to Dr. Dog training?
Because he is a stray dog. When he come back to our dog, he have some problem with us. He is very nervous,
Oh.
very scared. So we want to know why. and want to help her.
And when she finishes the training, what would you like her to do?
We hope she can help some
kids. They have some problem with social with each other.
I think it's great what you're doing, and I love that you took this and you want to help other people too, especially children that may be having some problems. I think it's a great idea. What was the reason behind your decision in deciding that you wanted to train her? Not just any training program, but Dr. Dog.
When we know about the program, and then she offered the training, when she completed this training, Dr. Dog organizations have some cooperations with some other institutions. So we will just go volunteer there first.
As you can see, it's a wonderful program that not only connects dogs with their owners, but also helps them find a way to give back to society through this special bond they form. And I think it's a great experience. Now, I just worked with one of the dogs in her class, and I got a little preview of what it is that you do, but how long does it normally take for a dog to become a Dr. Dog?
大约要半年左右。如果说他的课程的部分进阶的蛮顺利的话，因为最后还要完成认证。
Once all of these dogs become Dr. Dog, where will they go next?
如果你想知道的话，下一次我们要去就跟着我们一起走吧。
Okay. You know, I just finished a training with Dr. Dog, and I realized that one of the most beautiful takeaways that I got from this was that people not only take their dogs here just to train them, but they also want to take it a step further and give back to the community in a variety of ways, whether it's to help children with social interaction or to interact with a variety of communities and charity organizations. They really want to give back to the community in a certain way and build a stronger bond with their dogs at the same time. And I thought that was a very beautiful message to think about. Now I want to introduce you to someone that I think is doing very valuable work that I really admire, especially on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Let's find out. Hi, ladies. I'm really excited to meet you.
And you.
Hi. I'm Alana.
Mary.
Nice to meet you.
Lisa.
Nice to meet you,
And
Lisa. Come. I'm in heaven right now, but we have to get to business. I have to know, how did this begin? How did you guys get to know each other and create this organization?
She was rescuing by herself, and then she managed to contact me and said, you know, I need some help.
Wonderful.
So I went out and helped her catch some dogs, and then she took the lead by herself. And started to send dogs to the US and training.
Oh, yeah.
So Mary went and got training in the US by about 3 to 4 different trainers.
Wow, lovely.
Because she wants to be more responsible with not just rescuing and then finding a home, making sure the middle bit is done properly, that the dogs are ready for the home, and not only physically, but mentally too.
Yeah. I love that philosophy because it's more of the do it once and do it right all the way through, rather than keep rescuing the same dog 3 or 4 times after they've been abandoned again. This is something I really want people in the audience to know. Can you tell me about the dog problem that's happening in Taiwan right now?
We have 2 big issues. You know, we know that there's an overpopulation. People don't microchip their dogs. Okay?
They don't microchip your dogs.
Right. And spay and neuter rate are very low.
If you don't spay and neuter, there is a higher risk of cancer in both females and males. It's much, much higher if the animal doesn't get spayed or neutered. So you're stopping that too. You're also cutting back on aggression. You're also cutting back on dogs getting lost, because a dog will follow its nose. And a male dog can smell a female dog for up to 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers?
2 kilometers.
I think originally, if you're going to be a responsible dog owner, you should be willing to take all the steps in
Yes.
vaccinating, neutering them, microchipping them.
And then walking them with just a simple leash. You know, that's why dogs run away, they get lost. So when you see our dogs here, they're called Formosa Mountain Dog mixes.
Yeah.
So they're only native to Taiwan. And I said because a lot of dogs are not spayed and neuter, and that's why we have this overpopulation of dogs in the wild that are not spayed and neuter. And that's why we get all these puppies here.
I know.
And all these puppies were rescued when they're this little. I mean, over the last few years in Taiwan, I've rescued close to 1,000 dogs.
1,000?
Yeah,
More than that, I think
probably
now.
more than that. But out of this 1,000 dogs, I've only rescued 2 dogs that has been one spayed and one neutered.
I think we also want to learn how to train the dogs because there's probably, I'm guessing, a lot of misconceptions also with how to train a dog appropriately, mentally and physically, which is what you both stress.
So usually with all rescue dogs, they're really scared of leashes, right? It's unnatural. They've never been on leashes. So we always start with a slip leash. And the right positioning for a leash would be up here under the ears.
Take a look at this.
Yeah.
You actually don't want it to be at the bottom or the
Because-
middle of the neck. You want it at the top. Why
If it's
is
in the
that?
middle, it'll be choking.
That's
Right.
where.
When it's up, you're giving direction. The mind will follow.
Okay.
Right. And if it's on the harness, then it's actually designed for pulling.
Okay.
Right. So walking, choking, and pulling if it's down here.
Oh,
Okay.
the steps.
Yeah. And so usually, come on. So we want a dog to be heeling. That means walking nicely along the side. And let's say if I see you and meet you on the street,
Yes.
right? I can have my dog go sit. Sit.
Very, very well behaved.
And this way we can have a conversation.
Yes.
You know, so this is what we're working with our dogs, you know, having that manners so that it's not difficult owning a dog if you could teach a dog the basic manner.
I think it should be normal, but it's kind of miraculous right now as we are surrounded by 70 dogs and all of them are calm. There's no fights, there's no chaos, there's no jumping, there's no running. All of them are calm, and if they're able to do it with 70 dogs, we're able to do it with
One
a few dogs. One dog.
Yeah.
Even the puppies are pretty calm here, which I'm amazed by. I mean, take a look at them.
Do you want to come and see the puppies?
Yes, please.
Emerald? Come. Emerald, come. Come. We'll bring 1 or 2 big dogs in. So this is what part of the training, what we do, we call socialization. So even raising them as a puppy, they have to be good with dogs, you know, like with big dogs and small dogs. And this is how we keep them, you know, really well behaved and have good interaction with all these dogs. And look at this. This is really beautiful, seeing them play and interact. I will slowly bring.
What did you just do to this dog when he was trying to smell him?
Well, she's actually at a really weak energy, like really weak state. She was really scared. Look at the tail. The tail is tucked all the way in.
Okay.
So he wasn't really attacking her, but he was actually telling her that this is not a good state for you to be in. He's actually teaching her, like, don't be like this, right?
Okay.
So I just touch him and say, no, don't do this.
Where
leave.
did you touch him?
Right on the stomach, right here.
On the side?
Yeah, on the side. You being a stranger, you could tell she's really scared. She's trying to hide. So what I would do, I would bring her slowly, and I'll just go in a sitting position, and you can come right here.
So I want to not look.
You don't want to look at her like this because you're challenging her, and that's too much for her.
Okay.
So for you to be on the side,
It's
and
just
then,
enjoying my company,
yes,
companion.
and then this is what we do step by step to get her used to people.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this way she can have a positive experience, and we want to build that up.
Yeah.
And then she's been really good. I just release. I don't say any word of release. I just let her go.
This is a very dominant dog.
Well, he's not really dominant. He was rescued, but I think he wasn't socialized with dogs. So he's not as good or as socialized with dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, so he can get a bit pushy, but he's definitely not aggressive.
Great.
Yeah.
2 dogs with very different temperaments. So you've got one with, you described it as a weak energy, which I thought was a very interesting description. And you've got a dog that's not necessarily not aggressive, but more dominant than this one. And you can have them both side by side in peace, in a calm manner. It's all about the training. So. I also have a question because I noticed that you guys are both females. For some reason, a lot of dogs that have been abused are scared of males.
Yes.
How do you overcome that so that some of these can be around male owners?
Well, again, we take little steps. We work with them first, and we give them that basic obedience, or we build their confidence up to a level that we feel like we can challenge them to the next step. And that's when we're going to bring in volunteers that are meant to start by just walking them, but not touching or petting, just walking them.
I just learned from Mary that some of the puppies that they rescue are as young as a few weeks old, and these are puppies that have been found by the road in car parking lots, just either abandoned or they came from mothers that were stray dogs. Am I going?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
With puppies, it's a lot of work. So people that want to raise puppies, definitely need to think twice.
Hi, baby.
Because a lot of people get them because they're so cute. And once they get bigger, and when they're vaccinated, that's when we move them down to the other room.
Okay, they have to be vaccinated first before going down. You can vaccinate your dog as young as 4 months old.
No, 5 weeks old. You start with
5 weeks old.
Yeah, because the first year you need 3 vaccinations.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Bye, sweetie. This is without a doubt turning out to be one of my favorite episodes of Follow Alana because it's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. I think the takeaway here is that every dog has hope. Every dog deserves to be loved. That is something I genuinely believe, and I've loved dogs since I was a little kid, and I think we're going to learn some more about them today. Now that we have completed our training, we are going to take the skills that we learned and apply them to a real life scenario. Follow me, or in this case, follow Dr. Dog. Hello.
我们喂一个一个喂，好，走，好朋友，这一个。如果说每一次的狗医生的出诊的话呢，我们会希望说，带给小朋友们会是不一样的一个体验跟一个感觉，然后甚至呢，让他们在这一个过程里面可以学习到东西。
Teacher Dunn told me that the first step is hand touch. Now this is considered a special skill for dogs. Kids will hold out their hand, and when they are told to shake hands with dogs, dogs will also hold out their paw. This feels like something they have achieved together.
所以我们会教一点点的小才艺，但不是为了表演用了，是为了让小朋友或者是长辈可以直接讲出来，然后跟狗狗直接做互动。它可以吗？看到一个小女生呢，她就是属于比较慢熟型的。那这个部分呢，我们就会用狗狗一样会让它去注视到，但是呢，在跟狗狗的接触的时候，我们就会有一点点的距离，甚至呢不会用头去跟它就是面对面，所以我们会先让最没有伤害性的就是屁股，或者是呢，其实只要单纯尾巴出来，就是让它去接触到那个毛的那种感觉，这样子就很好了。所以呢，我们就会先用鼓励的方式，所以碰了2次以后，他后来就哭了。对，但是他最后的部分，他自己慢慢调试到很 OK 的时候，其实我们在继续做互动的时候，他其实是笑了。那这个部分他就很愿意自己去做很多很多的动作。
They have the same feeling and they have the same spirit, can contact with the kids, and they don't to have more communication. They just feeling, and the kids can feel the first of the dog. And I think our kids, when they contact the doctor dogs, they are very happy. So I think it's very good and has a positive effect on our kids.
And something I noticed is that all the instructors, they were able to do it in very gradual steps. For example, they started by having the dog in the presence of the children, not too close, just getting used to the presence of the dog, which is an unfamiliar interaction. Then they gradually brought the dog closer to the children, particularly by using the back of the dog and letting the kids pet the back. So they weren't too scared before they pet the head. And then they were full on interacting with the dog, petting it, holding it, and even walking the dog around the classroom and clapping and laughing. And I also noticed that it worked really well in making the kids really happy because they were able to enjoy the tricks and overall just have a peaceful, fun, enjoyable experience. You okay? Throughout this whole episode, I was constantly reminded of something that I've always known since I was young, which is that dogs spread joy. Dogs are wonderful creatures, and I've always had a soft place for them in my heart. Unfortunately, there is a huge dog problem in Taiwan, which we are working really hard against. A lot of dogs that are unfortunately abandoned, overbreeding, or just too many dogs that don't have loving homes. Fortunately, there are many wonderful people that, as we've seen in this episode, that are working really hard to combat this problem with too many dogs on the streets in Taiwan. We saw the cafe, we saw Mary's dog, we saw the work that Miss Den does. All of these wonderful people working really hard together to overcome this big problem we have with dogs in Taiwan. But their work isn't finished and they really need your help. So let's all work together to solve and combat this issue and take care of our loving friends and help spread even more joy. Unfortunately, there is a huge